everyone, it's Justine and welcome to day 4 of the 5 days of foiling event with myself and Laurel Beard. I'm super excited today to be showing off some Stampin' Foil. Laurel's going to be using the same products as myself, so I'm going to link to her video and blog below. So be sure to check that out after this video. So the Stampin' Foil line are 6x8 stamps, normal clear stamps, that also have different types of accessories. They're all sold separately, so you can pick and choose what you like. It comes with these foil mates as well as coordinating dies. Now these stamps could obviously be used on their own. You could have the solid stamp as a background and layer them up for some interest. Or you can take the solid stamps and you can stamp them on top of these pre-printed foil mates. These foil mates here have been printed in toner ink with a laser printer on quality Gina K Designs white cardstock. The great thing about this is those black pieces or black areas are going to foil when you put them through a laminator. So you can pick and choose which color you'd like to stamp your butterflies in. I'm going to be using the 3 shades of pink that I own. I'm going to start off with Passionate Pink and I'm going to ink up my stamp as I would normally. I'm then going to stamp it over top of the image it coordinates on top of the foil mates. That way I can pick and choose which color I would like my butterfly to be. So when I'm finished inking up my stamp, I really wanted to get a lot of ink on there for the very first time ever that I've stamped this stamp. I'm going to stamp on top of it, push down, and there we go, I have my pink butterfly. And it looks really pretty even as is. But of course, I'm going to be able to foil it when it's all finished. I went ahead and actually ended up foiling several of these, so I did the whole page of them. And then I went ahead and die cut them. But for these 3 images, I wanted to see what they would look like. And that's where I made my first mistake. And I always like to leave my mistakes in my videos so that you learn from them. Don't foil first, make sure you die cut them or you trim them out with scissors. The reason being is I'm now going to actually foil my entire panel of black butterflies. It is okay if you do this though. You can stamp over top of the foil. You just need to be careful when you're wiping the ink off the foil. The foil will resist the ink, but when you're wiping it off, it might get onto your cardstock or your butterfly. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you can see I slipped the foil mate into the parchment paper, and I put the foil on top, color side facing up. I'm using the Shattered Silver Foil by Thermoweb, and that's a Deco Foil brand. So I'm just going to run this through my laminator. I have been reading your comments lately about your laminators, and everybody's saying, oh, I keep getting black spots. First of all, I've said in all my videos, now and again, I get little black specks. It's a fact of life, and I just ignore them. However, leaving your laminator on for about 20 to 30 minutes before you start foiling and running it through twice. Also, you might want to place a piece of cardstock behind the item that you're foiling. These things here are going to help you get the best impression. So you can see how absolutely gorgeous these butterflies are. I absolutely love that detailed shine in the silver with the shattered glass silver foils. I went ahead and cut out a bunch more of the butterflies as you can see here. I like to hold all my dies in place using the Thermoweb purple tape. This purple tape is perfect. It never rips my cardstock like washi tape tends to do now and again. Now before we move on to making the cards, I just wanted to show you the other sets that are available by Thermoweb. So there is not only this butterfly set, but there's also a birthday set. Birthday sets are always handy to have, I find, and I'm always looking for new ones and good ones because these are the types of cards I tend to give away the most often. Now, it comes with the coordinating dies. You have your levels of cake and balloons and things like that, and then the foil mates that go with them. And what I like about these sets of foil mates is that they have a sentiment in them. The third set here is a nice set for florals and vines. This one here is absolutely gorgeous, called Where Flowers Bloom, and it comes with the coordinating dies, of course, and then the stamp set. And I love the way this one turned out. So I went ahead on this foil mates and I stamped using Turquoise Sea ink the 4 balloons. So the balloons come in 2 different types. You have here the stamp, so you can stamp it solid, and then you also have the ones that are already solid in black for you, so you can foil the whole thing. I'm going to do all 8 of these here because I want to laminate all of them. I'm also going to leave one of these happy birthday sentiments on the area that I'm going to foil. What's really cool is that Gina K Designs has ink, like the Turquoise Sea I stamped with, and the fancy foils that coordinate, so you can have the same color foils and ink. How cool is that? It's like they thought of everything. So I'm going to grab a sheet out of here. I always fold up my plastic here when I'm taking the foils out of the bag, and I quickly transfer it to my storage method for foiling. I'm not revealing that though until the very last day of foiling, which is tomorrow. I'm going to show off my storage method. method, but if you watched our Facebook Live the other day with Laurel and I, then you would have seen it there. So I'm slipping that into the parchment paper once again and putting it through my laminator. When I take it out, I just need to peel off the foil, and then it came out absolutely perfect. I have to also say I've had my laminator on now for about 30-40 minutes, and that really makes a huge difference. So now I'm going to just grab my coordinating dies and cut all of these out. The third set that I wanted to show you here are these really cool vines. Now, of course, you can go ahead and you can mix and match colors as well to make your cards more interesting. So I'm grabbing things here, some stamps to put on, and I'm going to be inking them up using a couple of different colors here this time. So I'm going into my Gina K Designs, and I'm using grass green this time to stamp out my leaves, and I love this color. And I'm going to stamp 3 of these. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use all 3 on the final card, but I wanted to stamp as many as I can. And I didn't think I was going to need 4 though. That might be a little bit too much for one card. I'm also picking colors that I know have coordinating foil. So I picked the grass green and sweet mango for the flowers. This way I know that I could foil using the similar colors. Of course, you could also foil using different colors and get a really cool look also. They don't have to match. Now once I'm finished with all of my cutting out here, so I just trimmed each one of the areas. I grabbed some of the foil in sweet mango and grass green, and I'm throwing those through my laminator. So when I'm all finished, I just peel them off, and you can see that I get a nice shine on the outline of the vines as well as the flowers. So off screen, I went ahead and die cut all of these pieces out, and then I used some of my tape runner here to just arrange them onto my card. You can see how fun and shiny they are, and I love how they come with one that's curved to the right and one that curves to the left so that you can get the most out of them. I'm just adding a fun little collage here so that I can stamp it afterwards, and it really makes for a quick, easy, and simple card. I topped off the card here with just a very simple sentiment. I also mounted it on top of my card base off screen. That, "You make my heart bloom." I thought this was such a cute little sentiment to add to these flowers, and I like having the sentiment sort of off in the top corner like that. I think it looks really neat. Now, as I said, I went a little butterfly happy here, and I cut out a whole bunch of them and foiled a whole bunch of them to use on various cards. So I'm just going to mix and match them all over the background, and I'm going to have some coming off the background as well. And I'm just going to go by the 3 different colors that I use, try not to put too many of the same color together to kind of create a fun little collage of butterflies. So when I was all finished, I ended up having an entire area here full, and of course I trimmed off, or I added some to the corners here to add a little bit more interest. I was able to trim these down as well, and I used some of those pieces that I cut off for the other alternative side of the cards also. So I was able to mix and match and reuse some of these areas also. Now I decided then to go ahead and add one of the stamps from the same stamp set that says, "Until you spread your wings, you'll never know how far you can fly." And I die cut that using a stitched hexagon die from My Favorite Things. And then I added that to the front of my card. And I really like the way that that turned out. I think it looks super pretty on top of the background. Then the next one I decided to do was I spread some of these butterflies across the background diagonally from the bottom left corner to the top right. I mounted it onto a card base, and then I added the sentiment just when the caterpillar thought it was over, it turned into a butterfly, or it became a butterfly, and that was a perfect sentiment for this card. Then I went ahead and started arranging the birthday stamp. So this one here, I decided to take the string from the balloons. And I stamped this and laid down the balloons as I went. I didn't attach anything at first because I wanted to make sure they all fit properly. And so in case I had screwed it up, I could have just wasted a card front versus wasting all these balloons as well. And I managed to fit 3 foiled and 2 non-foiled. Well, they're not non-foiled, they're just foiled around the outline. And I just grabbed some 3D foam tape and mounted the foiled ones on top so that they stuck out. And the rest of the pieces here, I just stuck on with some regular glue. I think this turned out super cute, and it's a nice little masculine touch on the card as well. Now that's everything for today's card tutorial pretty much. I just wanted to show you a final look at all 4 of the cards here that I created using the various Stampin' Foils that are now available from ThermoWeb and Gina K Designs. You have the birthday, the flowers, and then the 2 butterfly cards that I had created. I hope you enjoyed them, and here's a final look. Please don't forget that if you comment below on the video, I have a $25 gift certificate from ThermoWeb to give away to one lucky commenter, and I would love to give that away at the end on Monday. Actually, I decided to do the giveaway. And don't forget, of course, to check out Laurel's video as well. She's worked really hard on her versions of these cards, and I'm really excited to see what she's come up with because I don't get to see them in advance. If you happen to miss yesterday's video, I have it linked there under the suggested videos, and of course you could subscribe to both of our channels. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final day.